And I love pointing this out because everyone likes to say that capitalism works because you vote with your dollar. And the best system will win. You will get the best product will win because people vote with their pocketbooks, and that's gonna create the best outcome. Health insurance obviously is not the case, but there's more. You mentioned microtransactions. Who the fuck asked for microtransactions? Nobody, right? Nobody was ever sitting around and said, you know what would make this video game better? If I had to buy it for $60 and then spend, every once in a while, I spend $5 more on it until I've spent $400 on this game that I had. I want them to release an unfinished video game and then make me pay for the benefit. Yeah, right. It just make me pay for the finished product at a later date by spending 20, 30 more dollars. The fake currencies that are involved in that. And also the one that this is like, I can't believe this is still legal. I really can't. Subscriptions to everything. You don't own anything anymore. They're for the kids listening out there. You used to be able to just buy Adobe Acrobat or something. You could just buy it. You could go to the store, buy it, and download it on your computer. It was yours. As long as you wanted to use that version, it was yours. If you wanted to use Photoshop, you bought it, downloaded it, it was yours. Now everything is a subscription. Everything. I cannot believe that this is allowed to stand. Like things that don't need to be a subscription. I saw something with a vehicle. I don't know if they actually did this, but someone floated it. I'm shocked it hasn't happened industry wide. But they said, okay, so what we'll do, there'll be a heater in the car, but you have to pay for
BMW heated seats.
Oh, was it BMW? Happened. Was that what it was?
Yeah, it's BMW. Yeah. They have the heated seats in the car, and they charge you like $10 a month for the subscription after like the 6-month introductory period or something.
Right. It's like you could do this with every component of the car, and they will, because there's no law stopping them from doing it. I just if that isn't the best critique of capitalism, I don't know what is.
Yeah, so like with me, it's like video games and movies. So I recently bought the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. I bought it twice because number one, they got everybody, getting digital games, digital TV shows, movies, all that stuff. Nobody owns anything anymore. Yeah. You can't just pull out, a DVD or a Blu-ray or whatever, and put that shit in there anymore. Nobody has that. Same thing with video games. Your game is just on the cloud someplace, or you download it onto, your PC, your video game system, and you play it. But if the publishing expires for Marvel versus Capcom, for example, then you just can't play those games.
That's wild.
You own the only legit way to play Marvel versus Capcom, the only legit approved way by everybody to play that game a year ago was you had a Sega Saturn, or you had I think it was on one other system, or there was a brief period in which they put Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on a PlayStation 3, and you could download it on your PlayStation 3, or you could buy the physical version, which wasn't really a physical version. It was just a code in the box. And if you still had an unused code from the box, you could download it from Sony's library, and you could play it on the PlayStation 3. That was it. You could not actually own a newer, updated version of that game. And then they came out with where they've remade the arcade boards because it was a different license. It was a license for a toy as opposed to a license for a video game, which I don't know exactly how that works.
Yeah.
But that was $600 or something like that, just for that one arcade cabinet of that game. Those were the only actual legal above board approved ways to play it. And then they came out with the collection finally that had just a bunch of games that were out of print, not published anymore, and they put them all on the one disc. So I bought the digital version on Steam, where I actually will play it, but I know that license is probably going to get fucked up. So I bought the only physical copy of it that you could get, which was on a Nintendo Switch, because I'm probably still going to have a Nintendo Switch somewhere in a bag 10 years from now. Maybe the Switch 2 will play Switch 1 games, hopefully. So I have the physical cartridge to where I can still play that game 10 years from now, when eventually that license expires and you just can't get the shit no more. It's that's the thing. New thing comes out, it's damn, I have to spend actual money on a physical version of this thing, and then find something that can play this physical version of the thing if I want to guarantee that I have access to it, into the future.
Yeah, and this is annoying for stuff like video games or music or heated seats and stuff. But the fact that your actual healthcare is tied to this system, bonkers, absolutely bonkers. That sorry, didn't get the payment in time, and by the way, it's insurance too. So like, give us money just in case you get hurt. But if you get hurt, you got a deductible. So you pay some money first, then you pay more money, and then we'll chip it. It is an insane system. I can't. The video game thing is funny too. You mentioned how you had to get a copy for your Nintendo Switch on this. It's funny that Nintendo might save your ass on this because Nintendo's one of the worst. Nintendo is so bad, man. Nintendo is like a abusive family member. Like Nintendo, because like, we all have such great memories with Nintendo, and they know it, and they fucking know it. They're like, you like Mario? You like Zelda? Glad to hear. We're your only provider. You can't get it anywhere else. And if you want to buy this 20-year-old game, we're going to charge you $70 for it. A game that, costs no money because it's been out forever, and the graphics are significantly worse. The only reason you're buying it is because you have a sentimental attachment to it. Not only going to charge $70, we're gonna sell it for 3 months, and we're not gonna sell it again for 10 more years. So if you want it, you better get it now. It is horrible and like they make a ton of money doing it though, and so it's funny that they are the ones who might save your ass on this.
Disney used to do that too. If you remember, movies. Like they would, the movies they would have commercial. You would buy a DVD or you would buy a VHS. Actually, you would buy a VHS. And on the tape, they had like a little thing where it would show the other movies, and they would be like, "This is going back in the Disney vault."
Back in the vault. For those of you kids out there, you guys aren't gonna remember this, but like EK said, this is before the DVD era. This is for VHS tapes. You would see a commercial, and it said, "Hey, Cinderella is out, and this is the first time Cinderella's been sold in 15 years. So if you want it, you better buy it now, because 6 months from now, it's going back in the vault, and who knows when we'll sell it again." No reason for that. None whatsoever. They could sell Cinderella all year long. People will keep buying but they got that manufactured scarcity, and Nintendo has fucking mastered that, man. They have mastered it. Like do you remember like back in the day, you couldn't play Super Mario Brothers 1 anywhere except if you held on to an original Nintendo from 1989. So if it was 2003, 2004, it wasn't there. So people started making these ports, like these I forget what they were called. The extensions. They would put them on websites, and you could go on there for a few minutes, play Mario Brothers. Nintendo shut that down real quick. Shut it down immediately. And so, as like, you guys want to owe us $1 billion? Then take that down. And it's like, okay, are you guys gonna do that? Nope. Nope. Sorry. And then eventually they started. They do it now with, of course, Nintendo's subscription service. You want to play these old games? Sure. Pay us $12 a month or $15 a month, and you can do it as much as you like. It's just, you can't just own the game. We're not going to do that. It is kind of wild. All right, let me get through these questions real quick here. Ben wants to know, is your chair theme for Palestine?
Oh, it's I just have a kafia.
Oh, yes, as an actual kafia. Okay.
Yeah. It's a Razer chair.
Okay. And Kyle says, a Christian socialist and journalist, Elizabeth Bruning, participated in a debate with a libertarian capitalist about how capitalism doesn't free anyone. You can't you can't wear what you want. You can't wear what you want. You wear what you think an employer wants you to wear. That's a good point. And she ended the debate by saying, if the European countries that have free healthcare and strong labor unions are still capitalist, great, let's do it there. Yeah, this is like something I talk about, the free healthcare thing or the universal healthcare, because people are like, it's not free. I know it's not free. The free at the point of service, we get. It's not a gotcha. We understand. But it's telling that all these nations that have adopted universal healthcare, some adopted it like in the 1920s, some adopted in the 60s, 70s. They've had it a long time. None of them have gone back to the system we have. No, none of them. Like not one. And they all have better results. So I don't know, like when you can point out that the system collapsed for anybody, let me know. Other than that, I don't think it's going to happen to us either.
Yeah, so I've been I've been having this like 5-day long argument with my
Oh boy.
cousin and like over Instagram DM because like I'm pretty sure ideologically he's probably like libertarian or whatever. Like he votes Democrat. That's just the wildest
Oh,
shit. So, like
whoa. Hey, all right. I'll take it.
yeah, but like he's got one of those high high level finance jobs or whatever. So like, and he's made the capitalist argument several times. He's like, oh well, yeah, this isn't the fault of universal like healthcare. It's the fault or not. Where's what the hell is the name of that dude's company?
Oh yeah,
Universal
Universal
Health.
United Health. United.
United Health, there we go. He's like, it's not United Health's fault. They're just a company that's doing what they're supposed to do. Like, of course, they have to lobby the government, like because they're just trying to stay alive, or it's people's fault for eating highly processed foods and not exercising right. Just like all of the personal responsibility arguments, and the company it's only doing what it has to do, what it's supposed to do, like in order to make as much profit as it can, like for the shareholders and all that shit. And you shouldn't, like, you need to change the government. It's like he wants to put the responsibility solely on the government, but it's like, dude, like, and just completely ignore the responsibility of the companies and like their whole like hand in this, like, and so back to back to my job. Like, we used to have this thing called CompNeg, comparative negligence. So like, for example, let's say you're trying to make you need to make a right turn at a light, but there's this hugely overgrown bush. It's been there for like ages. People have told the owner of the house that has the bush to like trim the bush because people can't see, and then you get into an accident because you didn't see a car coming because of that stupid bush. Like, you can make a case that the owner of the house that refused to trim the bush to make it visible, like, is like partially at fault for the accident, right? Because and then you can you call it subrogation, where the insurance company pays, but then they go after this other individual or something else for a portion of the damages they had to pay for. So it's like, okay, we paid $10,000 for this claim. Like, you owe us at least $3,000 because this shit wouldn't even happen if you didn't have that bush there or whatever. Like, they can try to sue for that and everything, but like that, but like these companies are definitely deserve some liability in the thing, which is why I said at the beginning, you cannot separate these individuals from the broken system. They are the ones that are fucking up the system and making sure that it stays fucked up in a way that benefits them. Because like, you can't say that, oh, it's just the company doing what it's supposed to do, and actually like our bad healthcare outcomes or our lower life expectancy is 100% the result of people's personal dietary habits and like, and not exercising, like, or the food that they eat and everything. It's like, dude, like, yes, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. We have some responsibility in this. We have maybe like 2% responsibility of this whole thing. But like every other country on that fucking list has some form of a public option, whether they have like private insurance, but they can go through the government, or they have universal insurance for everybody. Like, we're the only one that doesn't. So like, maybe it is Occam's razor here, but like he doesn't want to hear that argument. He's like, nope, capitalism is not the company's fault. It's not the CEO's fault. It's all the fault of the government when the government is in the pocket of the insurance company.
So like, what is his solution? Like, he says the government's fault. It's the government's fault for doing what?
Like, for not coming up with a better healthcare plan. He's like Obamacare. Like, what was his critique of Obamacare? That it raised taxes too much or something like that, which, like, if I recall correctly, it didn't even do.
I was about to say, did it? I don't remember if it raised taxes. I don't.
Yeah, I don't remember.
People's main beef with Obamacare is one that I understand. Actually, one that I honestly agree with. That Obamacare doesn't work unless everyone participates in this like exchange. It just doesn't. Yeah. And so you have a mandate to purchase healthcare. You have to, or the government will fine you. I get why people are upset about that, because it's not as like, I don't even like, they had to go to Supreme Court because the legality is questionable. That, we're forcing you to pay into a private industry. Why? Like, why is the government forcing me to do that? Now, if it were a tax, hey, this is a tax that you're paying, so everyone has healthcare. All right, but I'm forcing you to buy into a healthcare plan. That seems a little odd. I get that complaint, but that is that what he was talking about, the individual mandate? Like maybe no.
So he was not talking about the individual mandate. Like I think if we explored that a little bit longer, he probably would have brought it up. But yeah, I do think like it was set up to fail from the beginning because it wasn't a true public option.
No, yeah, it's the worst of both worlds, honestly.
Yeah. Like I remember when it came out and I was like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Like that was back when I was still a W-2 employee. So my insurance went through my employer anyway, which is also kind of fucked up.
It is.
Yeah. Like one of the other things, arguments my cousin came up with is like the health insurance industry employs like so many people. But it's
my God,
bro, like those jobs are transferable.
Yes.
Like, if you get rid of all of these health insurance companies tomorrow, all of those people can just become government employees and they'll probably have better fucking pay and benefits with it.
Yeah, but yeah, we'd have to raise taxes. That's the one that's like you got to raise the taxes. Like there's no way around it. Like taxes have to go up, but in the long run, people will be saving money. You're not and time. You won't be on the phone for hours and hours arguing with your health insurance and going back and forth on this. And I like it when people like your cousin do this, where they talk about the problem. They say, okay, so the problem is we have all these healthcare industries that are making tons of money for no good reason. Like if the government was doing this, they wouldn't have to charge you for like advertising or something that they all do. They wouldn't have to charge you for bonuses, corporate bonuses for the top brass at these agencies. This stuff wouldn't exist. It would just like, hey, here's the money. Yeah. And they're the only payer. The single payer part is very important in this, is that say you're a drug company and you make this miracle drug or something. Oh, hey, I want to sell it to the United States. All right, great. We're the only provider. Here's what we'll pay for it. Take it or leave it. And they will take it. They will absolutely take it. Otherwise, they don't get to sell in the country. So it brings down prices for everything. Literally everything the prices will go down for. And it's easier to access. It's more fair. It saves more lives. There's like no downsides to this whatsoever. But I like it when people like your cousin do this, or they'll say, okay, this is a problem here, but the only reason it's a problem is because, and then they just go on to explain what's happening, right? It's like, okay, so prices are high because people eat bad food, they don't exercise. Like, okay, that's gonna happen either way, right? I mean, what do you want me to do about this? Do you want the government to stop people from eating bad food? Because the closest people came to that, well, he's a Democrat, so wouldn't go argue. It's like, remember Michelle Obama was like, hey, maybe we should take processed foods out of the schools. And yeah.
They needed an old white man that had a brainworm to tell them the exact same shit.
Republicans, like, they lost their shit when Michelle Obama was like, let's stop feeding our kids like processed junk food. Yeah, it'll cost a little bit more, but it'll be worth it in the long run. This is the nanny state. This is the government run amok. You want the government to tell you can't eat a hamburger. I mean, they raised hell for 8 years over that. RFK's gravelly voice comes up there and says, we should stop feeding our kids poison, make America healthy again. They throw them a fucking party. This is what I'm saying. Like, the Republicans have to suggest this stuff. Otherwise, the rubes won't accept it. And I hate when they just describe the problem and say, well, that's not the real problem. Here's the real problem, the one that we already know. It reminds me of like when it's like whenever you like I mentioned this like with Star Wars or something. Like in the third prequel, Padme dies of a broken heart after Anakin turns to the dark side. That is fucking stupid. That is absurd. Like, this is, I know like Star Wars is a kid's movie and shit, but you're telling me that we got this far and she dies of a broken heart? That's ridiculous. I was telling someone this, and he said, oh, no, you don't understand. You see, Anakin had just turned to the dark side, and it ruined everything she loved and she stood for. And she knew that these babies wouldn't have a father, and it was all too overwhelming for her. It's like, okay, it's still stupid, right? Like,
that's Thursday to somebody.
Yeah, it's like, I said she died of a broken heart. That's stupid. And you respond, oh, you don't understand. She died because her heart was broken. I got that. It's stupid. That's what we're saying about this healthcare system. You could explain all you want that the CEO has a responsibility to raise the price. He can't do anything else. That People make bad decisions, which is why they got the healthcare in the first place, because no one lives a perfectly safe life where, you know, you take no risks, you eat no bad food, you exercise every day. You're eventually going to have a health problem. And it's like, okay, well, that's just the problem here. Yeah, we got it. It still costs too much, and it's still unaffordable, and it still leaves people without care to die, and it's fucking people over for no good reason.
Yeah, dude. Like Brian Thompson got paid what, $10 million last
$10
year?
million.
Yeah, like the fucking president of the United States doesn't even make $1 million a year. That just shows you how much better, how much cheaper this shit would be if it were in the can.
That's a good point. That's a good point.